Well, hello and welcome again to our reading of Acts of the Apostles, and we're up to chapter 10. And this is the story of Peter and Cornelius. The name Cornelius was a very common Roman name ever since Sulla in 82 BC, because Sulla belonged to the gens Cornelia, and hence the name became popular. There was a certain man in Caesarea by the name of Cornelius, a hecatontarches. Now this is the Greek equivalent of a centurion. Mark uses just a transliteration of the Latin centurion into centurion. Luke doesn't. He prefers the Greek title, the hecatontarches, literally the ruler of 100. So he was a centurion from the Speres. This is for Latin cohorts. It simply means the cohort, which is named Italici. So these various cohorts had special names. We read of another one called Augustan cohort in Acts 27. He was Eusebes. He was pious and fearing God, with pantito oika, with his whole house out of him. So with his whole house. Poien eleemosunas polas, literally making many almsgivings. So performing many generous gifts to the people, much almsgiving to the people. Kai diomenos, well, it means asking, but here often has the sense of praying, praying to God. It's literally asking things of God. So praying to God, diapantos, I think it's temporal here, through all time, so always. So always making petition to God. And he saw in horamati, we've had this word before, this is the word used for a divine vision. He saw in a vision, he saw it phaneros, clearly, hos a, literally as if, but this is an expression used elsewhere in Luke. It means approximately, so roughly, peri horan enatein, about the 9th hour of the day. And he saw, the object of the verb is angelon, an angel of God, having entered in, pros auton, to him, so presumably into his house, and having said to him, vocative, Cornelius. And he, artenisas, from artenisto, is to stare at or gaze upon. It's quite a common word in the New Testament. So he, gazing upon him, kai genomenos, having become emphobos, well, frightened here. This is, it's rare in classical Greek, and in classical Greek, emphobos actually means terrible, instilling fear. It's used only once in the Septuagint with the same meaning as we have here, in the sense of afraid. And having become afraid, he said, Tiestin, what is it, Lord? And he said to him, your prayers, prosukai, and your acts of almsgiving, and ebesan, have literally gone up. It's a metaphor from the idea of incense rising, and it's used in the Septuagint in that sense of incense rising up. So it's they have come up as a menemosunon. This is an interesting word here. It literally means memorial. It's something which causes a memory to arise in someone. So as a memorial before God. In other words, God has taken notice of the fact that your prayers and your almsgiving. And now, Pempson, this is aorist imperative, send, Andras men into Joppa kai meta pempsai. Now this is a aorist middle imperative from meta pempamai, to send for someone. So we get the pempo and we get sigma alpha iota psi ending here for the middle imperative. So send for Simona, a certain Simon, hos epikaletai, who is nicknamed, this is epikaleo, so it simply means has an alternate name, who is called, this is passive, so who is nicknamed Petros, Peter, and Houtos, that man, i.e. Peter, xenistai. Now xenisto is to entertain, this is the passive, so that man is being entertained, to be treated as a xenos, that's a guest friend. This is a classical use of the word. Oddly enough, the word is used in 1 Peter, for example, later in the New Testament, but with a quite different meaning, in the sense of to regard something as very strange, that other meaning of xenos as something foreign or strange, but here it's to be treated as a xenos, a guest friend, so to be entertained. So he's being looked after, being entertained, para, beside, tini, a certain Simoni, a certain Simon the Bourse, dative of Boursis, tanner, for whom there is an oikia, a house, parathalasan, beside the sea. Apparently tanners used seawater in their work. Hos de apelthen ho angelos, and the angel who is speaking to him, when apelthen he departed, phonesas, this is the Cornelius now, having called out to 2 of his oiketon. An oiketes is a house servant. So 2 of his house servants and a stratioten, a soldier who was pious, from among those who had literally devoted themselves to him, so were attending him. And ex hege saminos, from ex hege amai, having related hapanta, for panta, all things to them, apestelen, he sent them into Joppa. Te de eparion, and we have to supply hemera here, so on the following day. Now we get genitive absolutes here. We've got 2 verbs, participles in the genitive. This is from hoda porun torn, so it's to make a journey. So as that group were making a journey, and engidzonton, again participle genitive plural here, drawing near to the city, Peter Anebe went up, we had that verb before, went up epitodoma, well literally onto the house, so probably onto the top of the house, onto the house top, and he went up there pros euxasthai, to pray, infinitive, about the horan heptane, the 6th hour. And it came to pass, prospernos is a very interesting word. The pros is emphatic, and the pernos is connected with the verb penao, I am hungry. So this is being very hungry. The word occurs nowhere else in Greek, except in a late 1st century work on medicine. Again, people use this as evidence of the fact that Luke, the story that Luke was in fact a doctor. So this prospernos is apparently a very rare but medical term. So he was extremely hungry, and he wished gusasthai, from guamai, to eat. This is the aorist middle infinitive. Para scuad zomino and autome, genitive absolute, and they were making preparations, presumably for his lunch. And so as they were making preparations, egeneto, there came to him an ecstasis. Now an ecstasis is a trance, really. It's used in the Septuagint of very deep sleep. We get our word ecstasy, of course, from this. So he went into some sort of trance, and the next section is quite self-contained, so I might stop there at this point, and we'll resume this in a later video.